What is up, Revival Gamers? It is round 7, also known as Losers Quarterfinals. We've got some good gaming coming up for you, two hype matchups. Unfortunately, my community manager is on vacation, taking a break, and that was the person who was making the bracket images. I am not nearly as fancy, so I am just going to focus on the actual bracket sheet that we've been including in the videos. We had round 6 last round. It included winners semis, which is ABR and Behe won. Mana and Sadlysius were unfortunately dropped to the lower bracket. And so yeah, next round we're going to have winners finals, which is ABR versus Behe. Then we have Mana versus Fredazi in the losers quarters bracket. Mana versus Fredazi and Endill versus Sadlysius. So we're going to get right into those games. Thanks for watching, and kick it over to the commentator. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Revival Tournaments. Been a while, but it's Gold Mason, and I am joined by my good friend Big Will.
The Mason and I were having an argument earlier about a song that he sent me, and listen, all I'm gonna say is, you know what? Actually, I won't out you, Mason. I'll just say that we were having an argument earlier about a song, and it really wasn't going well for him. So
well, it was going pretty well for me because you need Jesus, go back to church.
No, man.
Your hate of BB No Money is is yours to have. However, if you ever implicate me again, know that the consequences will be swift. Anyways, we got Endill versus Sadlysius, just to end our beef, or not.
I hate you, so.
Oh well, you know.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we could have this mutual feeling this early.
Yeah.
Endill, Sadlysius. I don't think we need to introduce the players at these points. If you don't know the players, then what are you doing on this video? Go back and watch a few others. Come on.
Yeah, go back to round 1 if you don't know the players.
Yeah. Round 1, round 2.
We're pretty deep in the tournament right now. We're like, well, this is what for 5th or for 4th or something. We're pretty deep. So.
Yeah, 5th and 6th.
Yeah. So. Okay. So
lower bracket, the loser is out. The stakes have never been higher. It's time for game 1. And
all right, Zap on Zap.
As all people with tournament life on the line, gotta bring #1 rated Pokemon on the VR, Zapdos.
Yeah, shout out to Zach PZ.
Shout out to Zach PZ.
There's so
I think...
okay, so I think
Roar.
Sure. Okay, so we're gonna probably see it's like a Doug special offense from Sadly, probably. I would guess.
And a critical hit hidden power is exactly what Sadlysius wants to get there. Deny some spikes. This build is more than likely, like you said, a Doug trio build, especially with the CM there. So limiting spikes is the easiest way to victory here, especially if you crit a Bliss.
Yeah, interesting. Zap and Mixments is kind of interesting. Oh, yep, and here we see the reason why CM Pass the Doug Trio is so powerful. Because you're not even under threat of Ice Beam here, really. Look how little this does. 67, that's nothing. Look at that. Chewed with a spike, and it's all because Celebi was able to find the CM Pass there. And now that the Blissy's dead, I'm guessing that looks like probably an off-Kun. Of course, there's the Zapdos, there's an off-Gar here, too. It's getting dangerous.
Yeah, there's not going to be very many switch-ins for this Gengar on Endill's team. The Blissey is usually going to be bearing the brunt of that responsibility.
He switches in his refresh pert to deal with this, which is not ideal.
Yeah, especially if Gengar has... Interesting. I was going to say, if Gengar has a grass move, might be pretty dire for Endill.
Doesn't look like it does, though. Yeah, which is kind of crisis averted, but that does mean that it's still a pretty great position for Sadly, because they can just bring the Celebi right back in on the refresh revealed pert means it's not Roar, right? So you have to contend with the Roar Zap, but your Celebi has Psychic. So you can kind of just click into it here, and it's like it's a pretty bulky Zapdos, but like any chip that you can stick on the Zapdos is one step closer to Celebi winning on its own. It's one step closer to Gengar winning. It's one step closer to Suicune being able to stay at 100% and just win the game, right? So, or maybe not 100%, but it's one step closer to Suicune being able to trade with Zapdos rather than losing the 1v1. So,
absolutely. And Skarmory is going to go down here. Notably, the Salamence was revealed faster than the Celebi earlier, so it's probably going to be able to take Celebi down or force a trade. Yep, there's Dugtrio gone.
We're going to see... Oh, Suicune Revenge. I thought maybe it'd be Gengar. Suicune Revenge is interesting. So, I'm guessing Sadly is basically directly looking to apply pressure to the Swampert. They're likely looking at maybe trying to endgame with the Gengar then, if I had to guess. Because if I had to guess... this could be Crocoon. The last is Army, okay.
Last for Sadly is either a Jirachi or a Raikou, so definitely...
Raikou? No way it's a Raikou.
I think so. I think it's a Raikou.
I think it's a Raikou?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the Rock Resist?
You don't run a Rock Resist on Spec Off. You kill as fast as possible.
Okay, but you still need to pivot into Arrow Rock Slide once.
Notably, that was Hidden Power Electric, by the way. Neutral to Zapdos. Pretty interesting tech from Sadly.
Yeah, well, that just means it's full 3 attack off Coon. So Salamence is going to be able to come in and finish it off. But
Gengar...
Snarmy was able to be gotten through, but
Gengar is
as snipped as it is, yeah.
Unkillable.
And yeah, Reppert's not even going to be killing it anyway. That's a good point.
Yep. Now something has to switch into a Celebi Psychic or the Swampert goes down. I mean, Gengar probably just wins from here anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if Celebi gets taken down by the Salamence, then Gengar comes in and nothing switches into Ice Punch. So another Pokemon is going to have to be given up to the Gengar.
It is the Zapdos. Yep, that makes... I think that makes a decent amount of sense, because you need the Salamence for 100% certain. Because the last is going to be something Fire Weak on this, I'm pretty sure. It's going to be either Jirachi or Metagross. Yeah.
Or Raikou.
It's not going to be Raikou, man. I don't know where you're getting this whole Raikou.
I've definitely seen... I guess maybe not with Celebi. But I've definitely seen a Spec-Off build exactly like this with Raikou.
Oh yeah, you've seen probably C's that has Metagross over Jirachi and Raikou over Celebi.
That's probably it.
Yeah, but it still has a Steel type.
Still has... Well, yeah, fair enough. It still has a Rock Resist. So not entirely a fish, but... Yeah, sadly brings it down. Jirachi closed that one out, but Gengar probably could have done the same thing. Really, once the Blissey went down, Endill had a lot of trouble. I mean, it's a standard Spec-Off.
It was just a cascade. I mean, that's exactly what Special Offense is looking for, as you mentioned, especially those all-in Dug ones like Sadly's team. I'm not personally a huge fan of Sadly's team, but if you're able to find that Blissey trap, it really does work.
Yeah.
And Sadly was absolutely able to find it in this game, so no surprise we see game 1 to Sadly here.
After Doug finds that Blissey trap, exactly, everything starts having to trade, 1.5 Mons just to take down one of Sadly's, and just kind of goes from there. If you can't stabilize, it very quickly goes out of control. But let's see if Endill can bring it back in game 2. And here we go. Look at that. There's a Tyranitar on the field. No sand last game.
That's the first one of the set.
Yeah, no sand last game. So there's
hard directly into Pert as we see T-Tar to Zap versus Mence. Interesting.
Very interesting.
And Zapdos is going to end up taking a Toxic on the swap. Huh, okay.
I would hazard to guess that Endill also brought Tyranitar.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I think it's T-Tar Lax Meta last 3 would be my first guess, or it's Blissey Skarmag. That's also an option.
This entirely possible that Sadly brought El Clasico, which is the arrow with Skarmory and Gengar as well. Oh no, there's Cloyster.
Sadly also is a big Cloyster fan. This makes a lot of sense.
El Cloysico.
Yep. Oh, it's
Ori versus Cloyster.
This is not a common one, but Cloyster does handedly win this matchup of the two spinning spikers due to the fact that Surf does a lot for you.
And it almost always brings Gengar, which we'll see come out here.
Yes. Play teams are usually at the pacing where you want a Gengar. And it's
Ooh,
Hypno.
Hypnogar.
Oh, it's Asshole Gar. No, man.
Blissey comes in. Hypnogar usually doesn't have much for Blissey, so other Pokemon are going to have to...
It's usually Explosion is what it has, but yeah. Tyranitar going to come in here, and Wish Blissey looks like it kind of can start to stabilize a little bit, but one of the issues with Wish Blissey is the fact that it lets in the Focus Punch Tyranitar. If you have such a strong rock resist as that looks like max HP, close to max defense, relaxed Pert, you're going to be fine, though.
Yeah, but that Pert does, like Sadly did, went to Cloyster, so Endill made a very heads-up play going directly to Zapdos.
I almost wonder if this is Restock Zap, eh? I think it might be.
The way that Endill's playing it, it absolutely looks like it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Swampert refs.
Sure. I think that's probably why he was okay with just taking the trade early. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. There's the rest. We're probably going to... Do you burn here? I don't think you do. You have Blissey still. Just go to Blissey. Oh, I guess you do. Okay, that's fine.
You definitely can burn.
Yeah.
You have safe rest turns on the revealed Ref Pert. So you kind of want to get...
You can also just rest again now, too. You can just keep stalling. Let's see. Did we see a rest again?
No, this is the turn.
Now. Oh, great play. Yep. Tyranitar was a smart coverage play that turn because it covers Rest again, and it also covers potential Blissey. And now Rest Zap is at 40, which is kind of a tricky range because Rest Zap, of course, is going to be slower than both Zapdos and Gengar. So, and Rest Zap's like primary strength is the fact that it shrugs off every special attack, basically, right? But the fact that you don't have the recovery of like a Blissey means that you can get forced at awkward ranges much easier, which is what we're seeing right now even. But yeah, it looks like Endill is just gonna get a rest turn here though, so forget what I was saying, I guess. Oh, never mind, he actually chooses to heal up the Blissey instead.
Yeah, that was probably the play. Again, both the Zapdos...
Actually, wait, he doesn't even get to heal up his Blissey, it's faster. Okay.
Oh,
I was wondering about that.
It's Ref 3 attacks.
Yeah, that's a very good set. I like that set a lot.
Yeah.
It's a cool set specifically because Refresh 3 attacks is cool because it just shrugs off Skarm Tox early. There are a lot of Skarms that'll go like Spike Tox or just Tox versus Pert early because they think it's a good trade, and it is most of the time. But if you have Refresh, you can kind of just like sit on them and fire off strong Hydros forever. It's awesome.
Yeah, especially on this Cloyster team where it also threatens out the Blissey. Yeah, fantastic.
The Ghost 40 though, that's
Ghost
interesting.
40 indeed.
What that tells me is, okay, it's probably a Fidstar then, if it's Ghost 40, right? No, it's still Suit. Okay, it's just Suit plus it's just Suitar plus Ghost 40. Interesting. Okay.
I do think that sadly, especially before this set, has been very a big fan of Gengar. So
yeah. Well, they like a lot of the faster paced like spike offenses, right? They're even known to run 40 like pretty frequent, like the 40 offenses pretty frequently, like
that
the Fizzstar plus Ghost 40 kind of offensive spikes builds. But
that was unfortunate from Endill. Just sadly is getting a lot of these reads. The Zapdos did not go for rest there, thinking that the Tyranitar was going to be a pretty obvious switch in. And instead, the Zapdos stayed in and Thunderbolted, so the Zapdos went down.
Oh, but Endill managed to kill the Zapdos on a read that he would swap to Salamence. So it looks like maybe. Oh,
wow.
All right, that's probably game.
Yeah, so the Salamence from Endill is probably Dragon Dance, so it was trying to sack the Tyranitar so that the Aerodactyl would get intimidated. Oh, it's not. It's not.
It's definitely mixed, yeah. It revealed HP Grass just a second
ago. Okay, yeah, I missed that. My bad.
Yeah.
Thought maybe that was the one out, but maybe not.
No. I mean, the out is that you live Rock Slide. If you're intimidated, you can force it out one time
Oh
and
yeah,
try to crit.
yeah,
And then you do get another kill out of it because sadly he's never supposed to risk that. So but it's weird anyway. You probably have to dodge Rock Slide to win anyway. So
yeah.
it was kind of a tricky game, especially considering that sadly Cloyster was kind of just able to get up versus the Swampert all game and then just like own. There wasn't really, like Cloyster had a really good matchup this game, I'll be honest.
Yeah, that was a really good showcase of Cloyster. Again, Cloyster paired with Gengar, just really Cloyster is able to come in on that Swampert pretty much every time. It's able to get his spikes up, and then anytime Fori would come in, the Gengar can just come and sit on it, especially Hypnogar. And the utility that Cloyster provides and being able to actually spin away the spikes as well, especially once it gets these 3 up, it would have been able to, if needed, spin away the spikes against the Fori as it comes in or anything like that, and then just go right back to Gengar. Yeah,
it's not a great spinner, but it is a spinner that had it is a spinner that's gonna find its windows in matchups like this for sure.
Yep. And, you know, the utility it provides with both spinning, but also providing boom, puts it a little bit over Skarmory there, especially on this type of build.
Yeah.
Really?
There's something to be said about being able to, like, Cloy Boom a Zap on swap or something like that, you know?
And I do think that Endill played around the build. It's very similar to a common build called El Clasico, which has Skarmory and then Ref Pert as well, with, I believe it's a Taunt Wisp Grass Gengar. So this team was very similar, but had a lot of like changed text. Like the Zapdos revealed Hidden Power Grass. Usually it's Ice on this kind of build. It doesn't usually run Toxic either. Sadly, really forced some of the interaction that Endill usually would have, like the Blissey coming in on thinking that Swampert wasn't attacking, had like Toxic and Surf, but instead it had Earthquake, so Blissey basically died as it came in because it was at 25%, and then the Swampert had Earthquake instead of being walled by the, by only having Surf. Just really, I don't know, it definitely caught Endill by surprise.
Yeah, all sorts of very smart, small stuff on this team. I think, a lot of it makes a lot of sense to me too. I mean, a Ploy team is usually going to be super fast, and if you let Skarm stick around for long enough, it's going to own you. So, makes a lot of sense why you'd want the Refresh Speed attack Spurt. I think it makes a lot of sense why you'd want the Grass on Zapdos too. I think it's just because the way it works is usually when Cloy comes in on Pert tends to switch out a lot of the time, and so. Grass is pretty nice on Zapdos because if you get into an endgame where it's like, okay, the only thing left is the Pert because like I Garboomed through the Blissey, right? The only threat left is the Pert. You're gonna find that a lot more often, I think, with this kind of team, mostly because you have both the Fizztar and the Arrow and potentially like Cloyster Boom and Gar Ice Punch and strong Ice Beams and Pert on swap, etc. Like you're not really super worried about Celebi, especially considering you have Roar on Zap too.
Absolutely. But yeah, really, really well done from Sadlysius. Some really good games. I hope everybody enjoyed them. Round 7. So Sadlysius is now, I believe, in the money. Facing, or no, not quite. Just outside of the money. Yep. Playing for third or fourth place, guaranteed. Sorry, playing for third place, fourth place if they lose. Yeah, so really close to the money, playing next round, and got any closing thoughts other than repenting for your lack of BB no money like?
Well, there's we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this in a moment.
Okay.
But
right.
I thought this was a pretty classic display of the type of stuff that Sadlysius is very known for and very good at. Right? It's a lot of faster paced stuff, very good control of, like, managed the spike game very well and was able to come out on top in the end, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, just really good games. Both notably 42 turns exactly, which is kind of cool. I didn't see that before. But yeah, thank you for joining me, Big Will. And yeah, thank you everybody for watching. We will see you next time on another Revival Tournaments commentated set.
See ya.